Welcome to the Unity Excel Trading Model live stream webinar. Today we are going to be we're going to be trading using the Unity trading model, using Excel. We're going to be looking at a mean reversion type strategy. We're going to be doing it on a very short time frame. We're going to be using the 1 minute time frame. And with me to talk about the strategy, the markets and everything else is Ren Vallow. How are you today, Ren?
Hey, good morning, Mark. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
Good, good. It's a beautiful summer morning here in Colorado.
Oh, nice, nice. Got that summer at last.
Yep, yep.
It's a
It's looking
lovely
good.
day here, actually. It's not been too hot, but yeah, nice. Slightly end of summer, English weather. Not too hot, but nice bit of blue sky.
We've had that too, Mark. We've had like a summer where it really hasn't gotten that warm, and it's just been, very, very good temperatures for us. So, and
Hmm.
when I was on my trip traveling around in Montana and Idaho, it was 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit here. It was just beautiful.
That's a lovely temperature. It's more or less what it is here today. It's
Yeah,
yeah, quite bearable. I remember last
yeah,
summer when we were doing these that I was I had sweat pouring off me because
yeah,
of the
exactly.
unusually hot weather we had here, and I know you had hot weather as well.
We did, yeah. At that time, when things have cooled off, and it looks like we're. I mean, almost feels like fall's coming. So we'll see. It's early for
Hmm.
that, though.
Hmm. Don't say that. So yeah,
No
we're going to be
worries.
doing a slightly new market, one that we haven't done before. I mentioned it to you just before we came on air. Natural gas. It's been in the news a little
Mm,
bit.
that's exciting.
Interruptions to supply is what I understand. Something going on in Australia. Um, so we had a bit of a kick up prices last week. Since then, they've come off again. So, but today I saw that it is one of the higher performing markets that I've got here. So I thought we would have a look at it. I'm using the Unity Excel trading model, and we're going to be talking about that. And I'm going to show you on the screen now for anybody watching, whether live or on catch up. You can see here, this is up top here. I've got the market, natural gas, using the 1 minute time frame. The strategy that I am running today is a mean reversion strategy. It's slightly different to our normal one. Here I am using price channels to identify reversion opportunities. I've got a long bias today. I feel that the market has sold off a bit and we could be going back up. So that's my bias, and I'm only taking long trades, and you can see the performance of this strategy. We've had this recent kick up through the price moves today. You a natural gas trader at all, Ren?
A long time ago, this would be like 20 years ago. I used to trade natural gas. Yeah, in a
Yeah.
pairs trade.
It used to
So
be it used to
yeah,
be
yep,
the Wild West. It has calmed down a lot, hasn't it?
it has. Yeah, we used to call it the Widowmaker.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. I think it can still have that. I was looking at UK natural gas prices last
Yep.
Wednesday. They were up 40% in the session,
Wow.
and
Oh
they
my.
closed. They actually sold off before the end, and they still ended up 28% higher in one day.
Yep. It sounds like the good old days.
Yeah, yeah. So exciting. So this natural gas, these are US futures. I've looked at it a bit more sensibly, not so affected. So I'm going to zoom in and show you anybody watching. Let's have a little look at a slightly longer time frame. We've got here the daily time frame. This is the trading session that I'm talking about. So we were still 6% higher on the day. Here we are today. We're a couple of percent higher, to nearly 2.5% higher than we closed at yesterday. So that's why I chose natural gas. You can see this is the MT5 terminal, and this is how the Unity model, which we're using today, the Unity Excel trading model, connects to your broker using the MT5 terminal, which is a um, pretty cool terminal, super lightweight, on the whole very reliable. non-broker specific. Many brokers have got their own versions of it, but it is available all over the world, whatever jurisdiction you're working in. We use MT5 Ren. I know you've talked about this many times before, but we use it because it's got a really easy to use, a modern API that we can connect straight into.
Yeah, it's very, very good, and it prevent we don't have to worry about passing usernames and passwords. It's pretty good stuff. Yeah, I really love the MT5 platform. It's modernized. It's got all the bells and whistles you'd ever want to use with trading, and you can do automation, which is yeah, it just seems like the best one stop shop.
Yeah, exactly. So it's got automation built in, but there are limitations. It is a fairly advanced programming languages. I've played around with it. It's a bit up too high above my level. I know you've tried it as well in the past. It's pretty high
Yeah,
level language. It would seem one for the specialist, and which is fine. You can certainly buy lots of off the peg options, or you can get somebody to build something for you. But if you want to have a bit more control and you want to use a analytical platform that you are familiar with, we have got our own built-in add-in way of automating, and it's using Excel. So this is the Unity Excel model. You can see here, this is today we've been taking trades using a mean reversion strategy, and we're not in a trade at the moment, I don't think, but hopefully we'll get one. Let's have a look. I don't think we're in a
yeah, and
trade.
Mark, the really nice thing about this type of a connection with MT5 is that no, all the programming logic, all that is just a connection, just the pipe for the data. All the trading logic happens in Excel. So like
Mm.
anybody who can handle Excel can, change their trading logic. They can put any strategy they want just by cutting and pasting a new strategy in. So that's the real advantage.
Yeah, and with that, and the equivalent using the MQL5 language and a EA is going to be a lot more complex. So
It is. It's a lot.
Excel gives you a dashboard as well, doesn't it? It gives you a way of
Yeah.
controlling, seeing at an instant what is going on. This is the dashboard we use, but it's hugely customizable. So if you want to get a particular readout of a particular um, market factor, you can program it into Excel and you can get it to read out. So this is trading live. This is streaming live data into Excel, and it's just doing it at that second that I was speaking. So if I go across here, let's just simplify it very slightly. You can see here we've got the date time. So this is today. As far as I understand, MT4 and MT5 always use a specific time zone, which is in some ways slightly annoying, but it's also consistent worldwide, so you can compare different systems wherever you're based. This is Eastern European time, so that's 2 hours ahead. I'll just check that. Yeah, 2 hours ahead of where I am currently based in the UK. And you see we've got the prices streaming in every minute into the system here. We've got our calculations here, which are really easy to do, and we've got loads of different indicators, logic ideas, all sorts of different things, but it's in Excel, so it's a familiar system. And we've got our trades going on here, long only trades. If I go back here and zoom in again to the terminal and go on to the, you can see what we're trying to do. It's actually just strengthening at the moment. We're looking for a small pullback, and we will enter a mean reversion trade to the long side. So I said we've got a bias. This is probably my favorite way of using Unity, particularly on these shorter time frames, which are tricky to trade. I don't care who
They
you are,
are.
these are tricky to trade. Having a bias, coming in with a clear plan. So natural gas, I think the big move is going to be to the upside, and having a strategy to take advantage of that bias.
Yep, that's a good way of doing it. Yeah, focusing on long only trades when you know you're most likely going to have the odds in your favor because the longer term trend is going up, then that's a great way to approach it.
Yeah, it's not the only way you can do it. In fact, we were only just talking about, we've got a demonstration account which I'll pop on the screen now. Actually, Ren, could you say a little bit about our demonstration strategy?
Yeah, so the demonstration strategy, we've been running it now since the beginning of the year, pretty much 24/7, is a Bollinger strategy. And so we're running it on the Euro USD, and that strategy just looks for extremes for price reversion, and it's running on the 5 minute time frame. So it's been going very well. We're up about 10% on the year so far. And that's a pretty decent return. I know with interest rates being a little higher, it doesn't not as impressive, but I think for a short-term trading strategy like on the 5 minute, that I feel that that is pretty impressive. We've been as high as 14% earlier this year, and I think we'll probably see this continue to climb up for the rest of the year. And I would just guesstimate we're going to be up close to 20 or 25% before the end of the year, just using this very simple Bollinger strategy, just the way you imagined it. You get to an extreme on the Bollinger. If it's going up and it hits an extreme, then we basically sell. And the only limitation on that is Mark built in some filters for us. So if the Bollinger bands get too wide, we're looking at too much volatility. We ignore those trades because we're afraid that the market's become too volatile. And if becomes the bands are too tight, we assume the market's just consolidating too much, and we just ignore those trades as well. So we're kind of like looking for trades when the Bollingers are kind of lazy but not too volatile. So yeah, it works really well.
Yeah, that's the sweet spot principle, isn't it? I just love this idea. It seems to work with so many different trading strategies. Can't be too tight, can't be
It
too
does.
loose. We've got to go. Can't be too boring, can't be too exciting. We just want to just keep milking the opportunities while they're there.
Yep, and as you can see, the P&L chart is doing really well. So it's a pretty interesting strategy. I really like it, and it's very consistent.
Yeah, you can see here we've only had one losing month since we started up earlier in the year. That was in April. Returned from that with a
Yes, and
really strong May, and yeah, we've just been chugging along nicely since then.
And
Um,
I should mention, Mark, that in our losing month, we've had two large losing trades that were not due to the strategy. Both times I was out of the office for a week's vacation, and what happened was we had a Windows update, which it's a lesson learned that if you're gonna leave for a week, you don't want to leave this running. So Windows updated, and that was the end of our automation. So we got stuck in some trades that we wouldn't have normally gotten stuck in.
yeah, so there we go. Lesson learned. Yeah, it's automation, but we still need to keep an eye on the robots when they're running in our absence. Yeah,
Yes.
the good thing about this type of strategy is it's got disciplined money management built into it. So we've always got that in our favor, and it's simple and it's repeatable. So it's a repeatable thing that'll keep happening, and that's how we're playing it. Different to what we're doing this morning. This morning we want to get some action, although we haven't had any trades so far since we started the webinar. I'm just switching back very quickly there just to show you. Anybody watching, if you have any comments, by the way, if you're watching this live or on catch up, indeed, you can get me on email or get us on email. Um, what we're looking for is a bit of a pullback here, and hopefully we will get into a new trade. When this, when Natty Gas gets going, then we probably would do this on a range breakout
Right.
because this can really really fly. The
Oh,
moment
that'd
we're
be
yeah we're doing it for mean reversion, but if we're going to see some action like we did last week, then we just want to be in the trade. We never want to miss a trade.
right. And Mark, also, I wanted to talk about another update that we've recently done. Our most recent update, we tightened up our emergency stops because of those two bad trades that we had. We've always had our normal profit target and stop loss set with the spreadsheet. But in the last update, what we did is we changed our dynamic emergency stop, which had a pretty big gap. So if something went wrong, the loss was large. So now we've tightened it up so it dynamically follows the spreadsheet by just a little bit. So if you did accidentally leave it running, the loss would be more in line with what a normal profit target and stop loss would be.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what you're talking about there is is market orders that are entered at the same time as the trade. So if we lose
Yeah.
connection, something crazy happens, which I can't remember which law it is, but if something can go wrong, it will go wrong, eventually at least. It's designed to protect that. It's a market order. It can't protect, nothing's going to protect us against if we have a gap, a genuine gap, but that's the risk that all traders have to accept. But if we have a technical issue, it'll give us a lot of protection.
Yes, yes, and that's a big improvement too. So we wouldn't expect to have any more large losses like we did before. Because we basically essentially we place two orders when we put the market in. We tell MT5, which tells the broker that we have a hard stop very close to our normal profit target or stop loss. And before we used to have a pretty big buffer between the two.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully we're going to get a trade. I'm just sitting here watching the screen here. I'm just going to describe my thought processes about the type of strategy, the directional, the bias strategy, which I've been talking about here. The 1 minute time frame is very tricky to trade. You need to be right on the button. But what we can get out of Unity is we can take that part of it out because we've already told it the conditions under which we want to trade to open, to close, to change something about the trade. So we're letting Unity, Excel, the system run that part. What we're doing is taking the overview. And if we want to change something on the fly, if we want to not when a trade is actually open, ideally, but if we want to change something, we want to tighten the stop losses, we want to tweak the entry conditions, we can do that using Excel.
Exactly, and it's very easy to do that too.
Yeah, so sitting here and we want to change, say, the breakouts. We think things are moving too quickly or too slowly. We can change the criteria and monitor it, the effects of it in real time.
Yeah, we do a lot of that right before we start our strategies. A lot of times we'll do a ton of testing and forward testing and back testing until we pick out our strategy. Then we're like, okay, this is working the way we expect it. Then you can implement the strategy live.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're pleased with how our euro. The I don't think we mentioned, did we, about the strategy? I'll just pop it on again. That is a Bollinger Band based strategy. It uses the Euro USD, so it is low spreads, easy to trade, highly liquid, all those things. You can trade it. I think we are trading it more or less 24/5, aren't we?
Yeah, 24/5. I mean, I leave the interface run just for people's information. I usually just let it run through the weekend because there's no trading, but I don't even turn the interface off. I just check on it Sunday night when the market opens, make sure everything looks good, and I check on it, whenever, every couple hours, whenever I think about it, I take a look at it.
Yeah. So it isn't quite set it and forget. No automated strategy will ever be set and forget, but it's set it and put it to the back of your mind.
Yeah,
Doesn't
you
quite
put it to
trip
the back
off
of
the
my
tongue,
mind.
but
Basically,
that's the principle.
the thing that causes me stress is Windows. I just like really I look at it every
Mm.
couple hours to make sure Windows isn't doing something. Like,
Yeah,
is it
well,
updating?
yeah.
Yeah.
That is one of the limitations that MT5 is, at least in the version that we're using, the desktop version here, is Windows dependent. You can get some version of it on Linux type computers, but you need that Windows emulator, and I'm not sure about Macs. I'm guessing
Yeah,
not.
it's I think it's just better to do it on a Windows machine. And
I think it is
occasionally
too.
Microsoft will have those emergency updates and they just kind of push them through. And those are the ones you got to watch out for.
Yeah, right. But with MT5, what you can do is you can monitor it on the app. You can put that on an iPhone and Android.
Yes, I have it
You
on
can
my
look at it.
phone. Yeah.
You can look at it on a browser-based version as well. See how what your account is doing. But the actual running, you can get a Windows server. You can put it on a VPS. In fact, that is probably the optimal way to do it. We tend to do it effectively using a local server. You use a laptop. I use an older desktop, which just operates as a
Yes,
server here. Um, we tend to
I
do it
agree
that way, but the
100%.
optimal way is probably to get VPS, where you could even co-locate. We've talked about that before, closer to wherever the to reduce the latency by making it closer to the to where the signal needs to go in space.
Yes, for actual, for live trading with money, that's the best way to do it. And you also can, with the VPS, it's good because if you travel, you can get access to it easily too. There's a lot of redundancy built in for power and connections and things like that that you don't normally have at your home office.
Yeah, yeah, and hopefully they're going to have some handle on Windows updates.
Yes.
um, Hopefully. So yep. So this strategy that we're demonstrating here today, the market is just grind. We're grinding a bit at the moment, so we're not getting any trades at the moment. We need just a bit more of a pullback to get us into a trade here, but it's not dissimilar to the one that we showed, the Bollinger system. The mean reversion trades work pretty well on the shorter time frames. Probably the best, unless we've got a really fast moving market.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We're pretty close on the Bollinger strategy right now to taking a possible trade. It's, not sure how it's going to play out, but we're very close at the moment for taking a trade there.
Yeah, let's have a quick look about at what it would look like. As I said earlier, anybody on the live stream have any questions, comments, thoughts, just pop them in the chat there. So let's have a zoom in here. So uh, if you haven't used the MT5 platform, it is so easy to get a free demonstration version. And I don't know why these lines are on here. It's easy to get a free demonstration version, so you can take free. It's one of the best demo platforms out there because you get a ton of data included, and you can get it from a huge range of brokers wherever you happen to be based. So here we've got Euro USD. So we've had a pretty solid sell-off actually. What is that in percentage terms?
Right.
Um,
We just went long as well. We just went long.
okay, so we're down 3%. So the actual percentage moves in the euro are still pretty small. So there we go, and let's put on the Bollingers.
Yeah. There must have
Yeah,
been
there
some
we
news
go.
event there. Yeah. Yep.
So
You can see where the
that's enough
trigger.
to trigger a long trade in the
Yep.
strategy. Got these candles selling off. What we're looking for is just a return, mean reversion type strategy. To my eyes, it looks a pretty good trade. We never can tell. What sort of
Yeah.
win
You never
rate
know.
are we operating at the moment, Ren?
Oh, I haven't. I didn't look at our win rate most recently, but probably right around 60%.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not as it doesn't sound that impressive, but it works.
Anything. Well, I mean, you can. We well know that you can get a solid strategy with a 40% win rate. For mean reversion, we do want it a bit higher because you can get some bit larger losses, but 60% is enough. It's solid,
Yes,
especially when you've got low cost of trading like you have with the euro. Lots
it's a
of
very
liquidity.
interesting strategy, Mark, because sometimes we'll see that 60% is like over the whole year, but you'll go through large periods of time where the Bollinger strategy has like a 75 to 80% win rate, but then you'll go through periods of time and it's a market climate thing where
Mm,
you just have a lot of losses. So, like, it goes through periods, and we're still trying to sort out what it is that's different between the market climates. That's the trickiest part about it. Sometimes I'm looking at the chart, I can't even see anything that stands out to me. What causes the win rate to drop off what like it does?
mm, yeah, yeah. There's that's it. There's so many. This is what makes the market so fascinating to anybody, isn't it? That spends any time with
Yeah.
it. There seems to be so many hidden currents that are not always obvious. You've got so many different players working on so many different time frames, different levels, um, different perspectives. But that's what makes the market. So yeah, as to what is driving it, well, we've got the sweet spot, haven't we? We know that the sweet
Yeah.
spot gives us an edge. We don't want it too volatile. We don't want it too quiet. Um,
Yep.
but directionally, it's been hard to identify solid directional guidance from the higher
It
time frames.
is. If we were able to identify that piece of it, like, and avoid those couple, like you'll go through like a week where it's just, your win rate's like zero almost. It's like
Mm,
25% or less. Then it switches to being really good win rates, and that goes on for a while. So I don't know if we could identify that one little piece, we would have a win rate probably close to 80%.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So we've got a nice simple strategy. We've got other strategies coming along. We've got more trend following type strategies. Talked about them. Super trend in particular. I found a slightly longer time period, 15-minute time period, is working better for when we're trying to identify the trends, and we're using the index futures or CFDs, whichever version of them, but we're using the indexes, particularly the Nasdaq and the S&P, and we're using them with a long bias as well. So
The longer time frames, they also give us like more profit, and when you have a good trade, it's usually a better trade.
yeah, it keeps the cost of trading to a smaller part of the equation, doesn't it?
Yep, it does. It really does. It helps a lot.
Yeah. Okay, then, unless we've got any questions or comments or thoughts from anybody who is on the webinar today, I think we're going to finish it here today. Haven't got any trades, maybe we'll get one in the last few seconds. Have you got any final thoughts, Ren?
Well, I mean, just if people want to view the current live strategy, they can view it. Just going out to a link, and I guess, can you share that link for everyone on the live stream
Yeah, absolutely. I can put it below the video.
so they can
Just
monitor it?
pop it on here. That's what it looks like. Unity Trading Model, MT5, MQL5.com signals, and I will put a link to that as well.
Perfect. Yeah. Otherwise, no, it looks good, and I was really happy to see the natural gas trading. That's going to
Mm.
be. I know it's going to be exciting. It's just we hit a dull moment for our live stream.
Yeah, it was a bit of a dull day. Not much going on market news wise, and we're in the doldrums, really, aren't we? Late August now,
The dog days of
the
summer.
historic doldrums when everyone's on
Yes, that's a good
holidays
time
and
for a vacation.
vacations.
Yep, it's a good time to take your vacation. The dog days of summer are here.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, right then. Let's wrap this up. Anybody watching on catch up, you can get in touch with us if you want more information. I'm going to include a link to our test strategy. There will be more test strategies coming along. If you want more information, just get in touch with us. Other than that, we'll be doing more live streams again soon. So great to speak to you, Ren.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Thanks for hosting.
Okay.